I'm going to show a couple games here that you can play to work on basic numeracy at the lower levels, but you can also modify them to work with higher concepts like division and multiplication, but I'm going to demonstrate here addition and subtraction. So you're going to have 2 dice, you can have 2 players, or you can have more, and what you're going to do is students are going to be adding and subtracting to make the numbers. So we have somebody who's got the blue chips, this game is called chips, and someone who has the yellow chips. And you can write these numbers on anything, on poker chips, and have them flip it, but I'm going to do it just on pieces of paper. So I'm going to start, I'm going to pretend I am the yellow person, and I'm going to roll my dice, and I'm going to have 2 4s. I'm going to know 4 plus 4 is 8. On the other hand, I could have done 4 minus 4 and flipped over my 0. So I have 2 operation choices the way I'm playing it now. Some days you might want to just have students do subtraction to problems to practice doing subtraction or addition. All right, so they're going to keep going. If they got to flip one, they get to keep going. Okay, 3 plus 2 is 5. 6 and 4 is 10. I'm going to switch over to subtraction for a little bit. Okay, 6 minus 2. I can't even do the 8 if I wanted to do it, so 6 minus 2 would then be 4. And this first round usually takes a little bit because students are clearing their board of the easier ones. 6 plus 3 is 9, and you want them to say the operations. All right, we're going to say 2 and plus 1 is 3. And so let's imagine this student runs out, doesn't, gets a problem that they can't do, say they have, well, whatever. So it has one they've already done, so they have to stop their tune. You might want to have them mark and say, okay, I went once, because you want to find a way to limit this game so that you should get 5 turns and then see who's, the winner at the end, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So let's pretend it's Blue's turn now, and they have, let's go ahead, 6 minus 5 is 1. So they can take it off the board, and they can flip them, either way works. 3 and 1, we'll say 3 minus 1 is 2. Now we're doing a subtraction version. Oops. My dice. 1 minus 1 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So this person would be stuck, right? So the game goes back and forth. The blue could say, okay, I took my 1 turn. You could do it like as a whole, like the whole class is playing in groups, and then you could set the timer for 3 minutes and say, who's got more flipped over at the end of 3 minutes. So there are different ways to determine the winner. You could say whichever person, flipped over more, which in this case we'll pretend that Blue flipped over more, or you could say whoever has the lower number if they add up the numbers they have left, if you're getting with a more advanced group. So you have 2 different ways to determine the winner. Again, who's ever flipped over more, whoever has less left on their board. So that's chips, and it's good in terms of really trying to get them to fully automatize these dot patterns and the combinations that add up these numbers with that basic addition and subtraction like in kindergarten or 1st grade. But again, then you can use it also for, you can do 1 times 4 is 4, or 4 divided by 1 is 4. So you can also use it with the division and multiplication. The other game I'm going to show real quick is the game called Make-A. Make-A, you can put your own spin on it, but at the basic level, what you do is you're going to have 5 dice. You may want to roll them in something like this. The students get 5 dice, they take turns, and they're trying to make a number, right? And the way you want to do it, though, is you want them to practice their skills. In particular with this one, you're going to have, they can only use 2 dice when you're doing the smaller numbers. There's Make a 10, which requires you to, that allows them to use 3 dice combinations, but for the 7, 8, 9s, and 6s and 5s, you're going to only allow them to use 2 dice at a time to make a combination. So let's play Make a 6. So in Make a 6, this student is going to roll their dice, and they're going to see how many ways they can make a 6. For every combination, 3 and 3, they're going to get 5 tally marks. For just 6 alone, they're going to get 1 tally mark. So this student, we'll call it student A, would have gotten 5 and then 1, right, for Make a 6. All right, this student would have gotten, let's see, they would have gotten, what did they get? They only got 1, is that right? So they only got one, well, they got 5 tally marks because it's a combination, it's not by itself. So student B would have gotten 5 tally marks for this roll, or make a 6. Okay, this one would have gotten 1 tally mark, back to A, and they would have gotten, they would have gotten another really good score where they would have gotten 5 plus 1, 4 plus 2, and just 6. So another 1 tally mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this tally mark method helps them learn how to count by 5s as well, reinforces it. And they go back and forth, and you could say we're playing to 20 on this round, or we're playing to whatever on this round. We're playing to 30 points on this round. So that's Make-A. When you're doing the Make-A 10 game, it's a little bit different. What you're going to do there is you're actually going to look for combinations of dice that 3 dice that add up to the number as 7, 8, and 9, and I'll explain what I mean here, because these are the numbers that she says so often students don't really know how to compose and decompose for doing mental math. So what she's saying is, if you get a 2 dice combination to make a 10, right? So if you get a well, if I got a 5 and if I got 2 5s, okay, for example, this one, this would just be 1 tally mark, right? 5 and 5 is 1 tally mark. But this one, I could recognize this. If I make something 7, 8, or 9, I can get the 5 tally marks. So this would be 9 plus 1, or I could do 7 plus 3, and that would get me the 5 tally marks. So you have to say, well, if you can do 2 dice to make one of these numbers, and then add on what's left to make the 10, then you get the 5 tally marks. So they're looking for that combination in the Make-A 10. So again, it's the same sort of thing. They're just trying to add up. So example here, all right, if I did 7, we only want 3 dice. So we could do, let's say 6. Well, we got 6 and 4. That's obviously 1 tally mark. I don't know if I see another combination that would work. Well, I could, oh no, a 9 and 1, of course. So there's my 5 tally marks. And you can't reuse them. So you're going to have the students, it's good because students are looking for combination, thinking of the different ways to make 10. So that's Make-A 10.